when Richard summoned me to his office. He didn't immediately lift his head. His gaze was glued to the email I'd sent half an hour earlier, the one titled Formal Resignation, effective immediately. His complexion was pale, his jaw clenched tight. "Tell me this is a joke," he snapped, holding the printed letter as if it betrayed him. "Not at all," I said calmly. "And congratulations to Caroline, by the way. She's going to be excellent." He blinked, struggling to process the words. I kept my tone polite, measured, and almost kind. I practiced that. Inside, though, I could already sense the satisfying fracture in his control. 10 years I gave him. A decade of flawless work. Stabilizing his deals, smoothing over his mistakes, extinguishing every fire that threatened to burn too hot. When investors hesitated, I persuaded them. When clients panicked, I steadied them. Richard liked to say I was his right hand, that he couldn't imagine running things without me. That was before Caroline arrived. Within 6 months, she was strategic director. Another 6 months later, the promotion I'd been promised twice was handed to her instead. No warning, just a meeting, an announcement, a smile. She looked at me that day, just one fleeting smug glance, and I knew fairness wasn't coming. I didn't argue. I didn't lash out. That's what they expected. Some emotional display they could label unprofessional. Instead, I got quiet, calculated. Over the next 3 weeks, I began collecting everything that mattered: client briefs, templates, models, projections. All scrubbed, backed up, legally mine. I reviewed every clause in the contract I'd helped draft when the company was still young and desperate. I knew exactly which part protected me. Any intellectual property created independently remains the employee's property unless developed under direct instruction. Caroline's entire department operated on systems I designed, models she barely understood. None of it created under direct instruction. I wrote my resignation that night, but didn't send it. Not yet. Timing mattered. 2 days before the board meeting, I had coffee with one of our largest clients, a European firm responsible for nearly 40% of the company's revenue. Richard thought they were loyal to him. They weren't. They were loyal to results, and I was the one who delivered them. I told them I was leaving to start consulting independently. I showed them what I'd built, newer, faster, cleaner versions of systems they already used. The CEO didn't hesitate. "We'll follow you," he said, shaking my hand. That's when I knew I'd already won. At the meeting, Caroline sat in my old chair beside Richard, glowing like she'd finally reached the top. Halfway through, he started discussing a new direction for analytics. My direction, my work. I stood. Actually, I said evenly, "About that, I'm resigning." The room froze. I slid the envelope across the table. Richard's hand trembled as he opened it. Caroline gave a little laugh. "You're leaving right before the quarter closes?" I smiled. Exactly before. She didn't understand. He did. His face drained as he reached the second page. My formal withdrawal of licensing rights for all proprietary frameworks authored by me, effective immediately. In other words, the entire infrastructure running their biggest accounts was no longer theirs to use. "You can't do this," he shouted, voice cracking. "This company runs on my work." I replied quietly, "Yes, it does." Security escorted me out, just as I'd expected. But I also knew that by morning, their system would stall halfway through its automated forecast cycle. It was designed to require active authentication from me, from the rear-view mirror. I watched the building grow smaller until it was nothing more than glass and steel, a monument to misplaced loyalty. By evening, my inbox was overflowing. Clients wanted meetings. Investors wanted partnerships. Caroline hadn't updated her LinkedIn title yet. She wouldn't. I didn't need to ruin them in public. Silence would handle that. Revenge, people think, is loud. It isn't. It's quiet. It's deliberate. It's the calm smile you wear when everything you built slips neatly out of their grasp. I didn't destroy them. I simply let them experience what it feels like to be helpless inside a machine they thought they controlled. The same way they made me feel when they said, "It's nothing personal." They were right. It wasn't personal. It was precision, and I was finally free.